So once again, my name is Gonzalo Duran. I'm running for public advocate for New York City. I'm under, I'm running under the Republican, Conservative, and Independent line for the United Alliance Party. I can't tell you how much of an honor it is to be in this situation and in this place, but it's more. I'm very touched right now because today we have many conservatives from all over Queens, Brooklyn, especially in the Bronx, showing up for our fellow brother from Manhattan coming over here. So, and then we have a nice diversity of Democrats and Republicans as well that came by. So it shows a testament that we are making big changes and big movements, and that's something that I think is very unique. But it happens only when you have the right person. And I'll get that into a minute. Now, when it comes to policies, as a politician, as an individual, we all have our own branding, our own styles. Obviously, we have different party lines as well. My particular views is, I always say, don't worry about the party, worry about the person. The type of person that you are, the type of person that you look in front of you, speaking and work with you makes the difference of everything that we're going to hit on today. And you can see that because we're in the middle of the most liberal part of New York City and technically in the nation as well. Yet we're holding a Republican conservative event. How amazing is that? That's Jason. That's Jason. Now, specifically when it comes to me and my values and viewpoints and everything that I'm working towards, I look at things that when I was a Democrat, when I was growing up, I turned 18, I registered. I wish the kids were still here so they could hear this part. But I was always told that Democrats are for the poor and then Republicans are for the rich. When I became 18, I learned the difference. I just signed up because I needed a driver license and they gave me a form. When I came back home, I understood the differences. When I got involved in politics, I saw the way it was going. So in my point of view, the way that things have been going on, I knew I wanted to be different. I joined the Conservative Party because after the Democrats made it so hard and pushed people like me out, I could say, well,
and me,
and Jason as well, a lot of us, a lot of individuals, and then not giving us that opportunity to run or compete with them gave us an opportunity to go somewhere else. And for me, the Conservative Party was that voice. I reached out to the other parties, the major ones and the other ones, but the Conservatives what gave me. They let my voice be heard, and now it's made the big difference. With that, in the last 2 years since I joined and became the vice chairman for the Conservative Party in the Bronx, our numbers have increased by over 35%. Now we're holding. When we started out, we had maybe 4 or 5 candidates in the Bronx. Now we're filling all our registrations, or our legislative candidacies. So we went from like 4 or 5 to 18 to 12 to 21, etc. Those are big differences. Those are big numbers. And so it shows that there's a shift going on. There's a percentage of individuals that are not okay with the way the city is being run. And you can only really blame one party because majority of New York is Democrats. And out of the 51 city council members, there's only 6 Republicans and 4, I believe, have the conservative endorsement. So that shows that there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. That being said, that number right there shows that, I'm going to say something with Vaughn. He mentioned he doesn't want to see competition. Me, unfortunately, I do want to see competition. I want us to fight. I want us to get that battleground because that means we have more people knocking on doors, more people talking at events, more people having fundraisers, etc. And then when we get to a certain point during the primaries, once we battle that out, then I believe the unity has to come. Because the one thing that I can say about the Democratic Party is they hate each other. But when it's time to come vote, they back each other 100% there. You can see it when certain demographics and certain situation comes up. Right now, you've seen the mayor talk bad about the current public advocate and the public advocate talk bad about the mayor. That catfighting only happens when there's competition. And then they show their true colors. And I'm not saying specifically the Democrats. I'm saying in general. That's where it normally happens. That being said, the one thing that we need to focus on, I believe, is increasing our numbers. Now, you can talk to consultants and you can talk to the policymakers and basically what were we talking about, the colleges, the classes? Political science. The political science people. You can talk to them all you want, and you can get different statistics and data and all that stuff. The only thing that's really going to change and give us an opportunity to make any movements is increasing our numbers. That's the only way. There's nothing else that's going to do us any much better until we increase our numbers. Myself, I register maybe 100 conservatives every year across the city by myself. Now, that number right there, why is that important? Why is that important? Once you have 50 conservatives, now you have a new database, now you have an opportunity for matching funds, now you have an opportunity to get people for volunteers, your campaign manager, etc., people to help you progress while you're doing stuff. Then you have businesses backing you up, and then you have other situations that come up. But if you don't have that database, if you don't have those registrations in your hand, you don't know where to start, you don't know where to begin. So that's where all that comes up from. And that's where Jason comes from. When I started 2 years ago, I only met a few of you guys there. And then now we're basically all family, hanging out, family events, building communities, helping each other with our businesses, and almost every single fathoms that you can do. That's where we are right now. But that needs to be something where we do across the board. When I made sure the Bronx was set up, I started moving to Manhattan. The first person that came up was Jason. Now, was he the ideal person? No. But he proved everybody wrong. Not only has he taken the numbers for the petitioning, not only for conservative parties, but the Republican Party. Him getting individuals to make sure that he was scouting them, canvassing with them, made it something where he wasn't getting the same equal treatment that Republicans get in different areas. So, once again, he proved us wrong. Then, when it came to matching funds, I can tell you out of the 26 individuals, only one person in Brooklyn has achieved that, but they were a Democrat. No other, I believe Jason has the best numbers that there are for almost a Republican conservative across New York City. He has literally set the standard for us. And he doesn't have a big team, and he doesn't have multiple meetings a year. He doesn't have multiple candidates to work with. I've done my best to invite him to our events so you can see what a structured party looks like. Now his goal should be to get that built foundation over here in Manhattan. And I've done my best to help him, and we will continue to build. And that just like I did in Manhattan, or what I did in the Bronx, I'm moving to Manhattan, and then I'm moving to Brooklyn, then I'm moving to Queens, etc. Now, that can only be done under one way. When you step into other people's territories, they get mad, they get feisty, they get hissy fit. And that's something else we have to talk. Going back to the unity part. Jason, you can't talk to this person, you can't talk to that person, yada, 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 this and that. Well, those are the things that are hurting us that we can't do. We have to tiptoe around almost everything that we do. But once again, Jason has set the bar for all of us. Not only has he done big name individual events, but he's also done the grassroots at an incredible level. He's had multiple events over here. I know he's expanding to different locations soon. Those are all things that you guys need to emulate. There are people that are millionaires that haven't accomplished what Jason has done. There are people with full teams that haven't accomplished what Jason has done. So that's something to think about. So when it comes to the next objective, why is all this matters? Specifically matching funds. That's one of the detrimental parts of why we haven't made any footholds. We don't have the funding. We have the manpower to do the work. We have the ability to get things done. What we don't have is the funding. With funding comes the publicity, the media, etc. We're excluded for that because we don't have the funds to pay for what we need in the media part. That also means we don't have the visibility we need when it comes to who's a viable candidate, etc., etc. Those things are things that I am grateful that my campaign manager, Isaiah Vega, was the first conservative that of known record right now to have received the first matching funds. Right there, that was an accomplishment. That was the first conservative. 2 years later, the next person to get it happens to be Jason Murillo, who happens to be his campaign manager. And at the same time, all these guys are connected by one particular person. I'm looking at myself. I'm giving myself a shout out. Gonzalo, I think after that for more. Look, my point. My point is that it's been a cooperation among us. Now I can't be everywhere, and I did give Jason a little beginning start that I haven't done for everybody else. But that's because when we walked out there with voter registrations, and I've been throwing these things at him since day one. We went out there on just a regular weekend, on a regular Saturday, and we collected 30 registrations in one afternoon.
Yep.
That's the foundation that you need for matching funds. How much you need? Like 75, 85?
All I need
for the in-district.
All I need is...
no, in general, how much is it? Like 85?
75, yeah.
75. So that's only 17, that's the 15 away that you need after you get 50 registered conservatives. You see where that comes from? So now, he got 30 on one day, he built his foundation, then he started knocking on doors, then he started having meetings, and then he went above that. He's done something that I haven't done. He's basically gone out there with his hand going, give me money, give me money, give me money. Right? But once again...
And now we have over 250 registered active conservatives in this district.
Yes. Not only that, but he has also outmatched almost every single Republican and conservative across New York City. Hear that? In the most liberal part of Manhattan, outside of majority of projects, Jason Murillo has outperformed financially more than any Republican conservative in New York City. How crazy is that? Are you guys listening to that? That's freaking awesome.
Some Democrats as well.
So imagine if the Bronx Conservative Party now has, when they started 2 years ago, 4 or 5 candidates, and they barely had any recognition, barely had any numbers. Now we have multiple conservative candidates with the Republican line, with the most active media, attention, events, etc. Imagine if you had money behind it. Imagine that difference, Tyree. Imagine that difference, Denise. How much valuable you'd be out there. Let him be your example. For the ones watching right now, let Jason be the example that we all need to emulate. Give him a round of applause, everybody. Jason. I'll leave off on this, and I say this with the most sincere honesty in my heart. Jason, I'm very proud of you. Jason, you know, I hate you, but at the same time, I love you. All right? Yeah. Please, I don't say that that often, so it's an important moment right there. For every single person listening, or every single person watching, if this is repeated later on, the one most important thing that I'd like you guys to take from this is progress remains stagnant without the force of action. All right? That means get off your asses and do the goddamn work. That's it. All right?